Good morning, everybody. My name is the Sobre Boys, or the Fatsi from the Big R. The Big R is the company that focuses on financial matters. But firstly, let me check. Sheikhs, are you able to see the slides?
Yes, I'm seeing a slide now that says forging ahead financially.
Okay, fine. Pito, are you able to see?
Asisohlala ka online ntate.
Asiso slide.
It only says you are starting screen sharing.
That's what it says. But Sheikhs, can you see where it says the Big R Membership Club Seminar 1? Can you see that?
No. Oh, the Big R's Membership Club Seminar 1. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm there
can
now.
you see that? Peter, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get started. You can see it now, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Now, we then started as the Big R financial education because we noticed that there's no school that teaches about money. I went to school myself. I've never seen them teaching about money. And it's not only South Africa, it's the whole world. And that is why you'll notice that our membership club has a very high profile membership. It ranges from lawyers, accountants, principals, teachers, and so on. Because all of us are hungry to know how money works. This concept of money, who introduced this concept of money? What was the idea behind? As I already indicated, and I'm sure all of us are aware, the whole world that South Africa is very days. It started with people want the release of the former president, President Jacob Zuma. But now it has taken another turn, whereby we see a whole lot of criminality now being part of the whole thing. And then we have seen this before, even during the time of xenophobic uprising. Now, when you ask, what could be the main problem? The main problem is people are hungry. People want money. Why? Because money buys food, money gives us shelter, money gives us transport, you name it. Money gives us energy. So this subject of money is very, very important. So we then embarked on the issue of educating as much as we can. Now, how did it came about? When I had that opportunity of being on radio explaining the intricacies of money, people would come back and ask one-on-one, now, if you do one-on-one, there are a whole lot of people. How are you going to finish? You won't have time. So we then decided that let's form a membership club whereby in a year we'll conduct 4 trainings in a year, and then have also what we call the networking session where we come together and meet and share, because business is people. You need to know who are you working with. You'll never know, all right? So that's how the membership club was born. It started in 2019 on the 1st of November when we launched it at Kentron Park Civic Center. And we had high profile people there to come and share their knowledge. One of them was Dr. Darlene Small, a former economist with the Reserve Bank who worked for the Reserve Bank for 37 years as an advisor to the governors. The last person that she advised was the current Minister of Finance, Mr. Tito Mboweni. She's a retired economist as we speak. She has written a book called The Art of Money. So she was one of the people who was there to share the knowledge, about the money, the intricacies of money. And also there was a friend of mine, Peter Baladakis. As a family, they call themselves the AJ Group. A stands for his father, Alex, who's late now. May his soul rest in peace. And Alex was part of that meeting on the 1st of November 2019. J stands for his elder brother, John, and P stands for Peter, who was the presenter on that day. This gentleman, as the AJ group, they have about 11 malls in their name. They also have about 10 Pick and Pays. And I'm sure you understand the setup for Pick and Pay. Pick and Pay has three setups. You have Pick and Pay supermarket, you have the bottle store, you have clothing. So they have 10 of such. All right, so they were also there sharing how they started. Because as I spoke about Dr. Small, Peter Baladakis, they are human beings just like me and you. 2 hands, 1 head, same 24 hours, but they act differently. So they spend their 24 hours differently as compared to the majority of us. So it's important to learn from such people. That was when we launched. So unfortunately, 2020, we could not have our networking session. Even 2021, it doesn't look like due to this pandemic that has outbroken. So, but in the meantime, the training continues. So that is the reasoning why we started the membership club. So our first training was aimed at explaining what is money, because if you ask people what is money, people don't know what is money, okay? And then the reason why people decided to join membership, to be the members of them, people want money, people want to make money. That's a very simple reason. People want to understand how to get passive income, because when you are into monies, the most important income is passive income. People want to understand the journey, and people are prepared to learn. So there's no way you can win without learning. That's very, very important. Now, when people ask all the time, how do I make money? I always say it's very simple. You don't have to be sophisticated. You know, Steve Jobs would say, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So Steve's goal was to simplify things. All right. Then he said, if you simplify things, then you'll conquer. And now let's look at Apple. Apple is dominating today when it comes to computers. When it comes to information technology, Apple is dominating. Why? Because Steve understood one thing, that you need to simplify these things. All right. Now, he then looked at the phone. He then said, why do you have to have a phone, have a watch, have a calculator, have all these other things in your table? He said, why can't you have one device? The very same device deals with everything. So in other words, he wanted to simplify things. I don't know whether you understand. Hence, you see all his products, they are called iPhone, iMac, and so on. That I stands for integrated system. You integrate everything. If you need a phone, it's on the phone. If you want a computer, it's here. If you want to pay, it's here. Everything is on the phone, the integrated system. And guess what? If you look at things today, everything that we do, it's on the phone. Now, currently, as I'm busy now with this training, we are using the phones, all right? The integrated system, just to simplify life, so that instead of having so many things, you know, and then where it was groundbreaking, it's when Steve Jobs made music to be online, to be a stream. Remember, prior to that, there was this piracy. We know that Yomswake Mbulu was the key proponent fighting against piracy. Rebecca Malope, you know, and then ever since there was this integrated system, that privacy story is gone by simplifying things. So when people always ask me how to make money, I always say, go simple. And they ask me, how do I go simple? I said, simplicity is this. You need to learn what is money. One. After learning, You learn what is money. You learn how money works. Then you have money. I hope you understand, guys. Simplicity. That's all I'm talking about. All right. Now, how does a person learn? That's very important. Very key. How do you learn? You know, Sheiks, you've got a young boy who's playing football. You yourself being a former great footballer for Mamelodi Sundowns and Vets University. You know, you're one of the best wingers, midfield wingers that we had in this country. Now your son will learn better from you. All right. So there's no better thing to deliver what I want to deliver if you don't learn. If you learn, you become a better person. So now the question that I'm asking, how does one learn? All right. So I'm starting it there. It's like now we want to understand how money works, how business works. I'm saying we need to learn. Now the question is, how does one learn? It's very simple. You learn by copying. You copy others. There's nothing new. Everything that you see today in the world, it has been done before. They just improve it. There's nothing new. Earlier on, I was talking about Steve Jobs, about music. He went to people like Dr. Dre and what have you, and see how can they assist in terms of it. He didn't learn new things. All right? You copy and improve on what you copied. If you learn about Steve Jobs, if you learn about Bill Gates, how did Bill Gates come up with Microsoft? How did Steve Jobs come up with all you see now in Apple computers? They say both of them, they copied from Hewlett-Packard, HP. So there's nothing wrong. You learn from the past. Sheiks, as a coach, you know it. Why do we respect coaches who've played football? It's because they've done it. And we want to copy from them and learn from them. So this is how a person learns. You learn by copying. You also learn by imitating. Very important. I've seen a lot of players now. Sheiks, you'll attest to this. Have you seen Kama Billiard now? After scoring the goal, you'll always imitate Cristiano Ronaldo. You see, so that's very, very important. Okay. So it's very, very important that we learn how to deal with these issues. All right. So that's another way of what you call learning. The other way of learning is role modeling. You look at somebody who's your role model. You try by all means to ensure that you imitate what this role modeling is doing. And by doing that, you will definitely become a better person. Okay. Another way, this is very powerful, reading. There's nothing that beats reading. You must read. Read a lot. I hear a lot of people having a lot of excuses. And Chavala, when do I read? I don't have time. I'm busy. They stock fell. There's this and that. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. All the rich guys, just listen. How did they build their wealth? All right? They'll tell you that they read. You know, when you read Steve Jobs' biography, you'll hear that Steve was an ardent reader. You would read a lot. That was Steve, right? You would read stacks and stacks of books. History, go deep, dig into history. So you learn by reading. I too, I learned a lot. To understand how money works, I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of researching. And then it's not only about that, you need also to practice. Practice makes perfect. You know, I hear people asking, Lionel Messi, they said, you are the best free kick taker. You score many goals. Then he said, I miss a lot of goals. I miss a lot of goals and score a lot of goals. So what does that mean? He practiced. I like using this football analogy. You know, when I look the life of Lionel Messi, the life of Cristiano Ronaldo, what I always notice about these two gentlemen, this is what I see about these two guys. Ronaldo and Messi, one thing for sure that I'm certain that they are good at, it's not only about training, it's not only about what they are doing. Instead, they give themselves extra work. Messi remains behind to train more. The same with Cristiano Ronaldo, over and above. When you go to Messi's house, it has fields, it has everything, equipment. So his life is centered around practicing, trying to be perfect. No wonder why he is so great. So practicing is one of those skills that helps you to learn. All right. So remember, in the process, you'll fail. There's nothing wrong in failure. In fact, the more you fail, the better you become. I wonder whether people understand that. The more you fail, the better you become. But people who don't fail, they cannot handle the failure when they fail. But people who are used to fail, if they fail in trying something, they will do better because they are used to it. Okay? So that's one thing. That's how people learn. So you need to read and imitate, encourage yourself to fail, and so on. Now, what am I going to cover in this training? I'm going to cover a number of areas. I'll give you a bit of history of the Big R solutions so that you understand where we're coming from. What does the Big R deals with? That's very important. What is money? That's very important. And then the history of money. You know, if you want to know something, you need to know where does it come from. The history is very important. It's very important that we have our history, all right? You see, when I learn about the history of the Boers, how did they transform their nation after they took over from the English in 1948? You can learn a lot. How to build their system, how to build their companies. You learn from history, all right? And then learning from history will empower you to be a better person, okay? So those are some of the things that helps. And the most important thing is to know that there is what we call assets and liabilities. These are very, very important concepts in money. Once you know this and understand them very well, you're on your way in money making. And then those assets, they have different classes. And what is the real money? Because there is a real money and what they called fiat money. Fiat money, which means it's not a real money. All right, so there is a difference. Now, what does the big R stands for? Firstly, the big R stands for all the English positive R words. All right, all of them, you name them. Names, words such as respect, respond, resilience, relationship, recording, reading, research, results, readiness. You know, let me go back a little bit. Let's see. Okay, the previous slide. Okay, yeah. You know, there are many records, you name them. So all those positive R words, they'll make you a different person. For instance, I'll give an example. Why did I mention that we have a network session? Network session is very important because you do what? You create a relationship. And for a person to move, to go ahead in life, is to know somebody else who can help you to go to another level. That's very, very important. One day, I'll give you the details. What do I mean by relationship? Because a relationship, you need to understand it from this perspective. It's a two-way traffic. Never be in a relationship that is one-way traffic. It's like you, Pito, with your wife. You can't have a relationship whereby you are the one who's always giving in that relationship and your wife does not reciprocate. Remember, reciprocate is another positive R words. If it happens that way, one of the partner in the relationship will feel abused. And once that person feel abused, then hell break. And once hell break, the money is going to be the casualty. All right. So that's very, very important. It's a two-way traffic. In the relationship that I have with you, Pizzo, I must benefit from that relationship. You must also benefit from this relationship. Don't see relationship from a one-way street. So I'm saying if you apply these principles of the positive R words in English, you'll be able to succeed. All right. Now, the history of the company, well, any company, it's a journey, it's a process. Shakes, we always talk, myself and you, everything, it's a journey. It takes a long, this company was started in 1998, and then its name is Lucas Chabalala Student Scheme. We added what we call the trademark, which is the big R solutions. The big R stands for all the positive R words, as I've already said it. We also had another slogan or the logo, which is called the big R. And then we have our logo, as you can see, our logo. And we added the slogan, which is simply say, forging ahead financially. So the history, in the past, we started with the slogan called walk the walk, but we changed the slogan to forging ahead financially. Now, it started in year 2000 when I resigned from work in the year 2000. And then I can tell you it was very, very bad. I started investing my money into butchery and chicken product business against my wife's wishes. But guess what? It never succeeded. It failed. Peter Baladakis, the guy that I was speaking about, he once invested with me in a business in Tembisa. As an agent, they invested about 50,000. We lost that 50,000. Remember, I spoke about how do you learn? You learn by failure, all right? We lost that 50,000, and I'm still grateful to Peter because I said, Peter, I need to pay you back your 50,000 rand. He said, no. My friend, we're together in this business. So as you have lost, I'll assume that I've already lost. So you don't have to pay me, all right? So that business, could not last more than 3 months. I lost it all in 3 months. So why that happened? It happened because I was in the learning process. I ended up by owing a lot of people. I nearly lost my property, my house. And then I remember the bank calling me. I'm sure, guys, you can relate to this. The bank calling me to say, hey, Baba, you owe us about 15K. I'm talking about, when was it? It's a long time, 2003, 2004. You owe us about 15K and we want that 15K in 3 days. And 15K by that time, it was a huge money. And guess what? There was no income in my life at all. And these guys are giving me 3 months to raise the 15K. So, but to cut the matter short, I survived that storm. I managed to save that the property, which I'm still staying at the same property, which is quite good. And then I started my business. And when I started my business, what did I do? I started reading books because I could see that it's not about the money you earn, it's about maybe understanding how money works. I started reading books, reading about financial books, attending workshops that teaches about finance and all that. I started reading biographies because when you read biographies, you learn from these guys, how did they make it? As I was telling you about Steve Jobs, I learned all this from his biographies. As I go through his biography, then I learned, oh, this is how this guy did it. So then I realized that, okay, this is how people make money. I got the secrets of how to make money. But unfortunately, I didn't have money. And then I was a little bit worried. I said, what's going to happen if I die now and I've got this secret? And I'm sure my children, when they grow, they'll want to know what is the secret of making money. Then I decided, let me write a book. That was the first thing that I did. Let me write a book so that my children can also learn from that book and realize that, oh, this is how people make money. So maybe that way, that will make my children to say, oh, okay, this is what we should do. Then that book was called The Secrets for Becoming Rich. The Big R Solution, Secrets for Becoming Rich. And guess what? I didn't have money when I was writing that book, but I had the ideas. I sat down, I bought a computer, what do you call it? A second-hand computer, 2,500, wrote the book. I didn't know how I was going to print the book. I didn't know whether I was going to pay the editor to edit the book. And then, but I forged ahead. I continued to write because the idea was here. And because I always believe that, you know what, you need to act. You need to act rather than talking. I always tell people and say, act rather than talking. And guess what? Having started this membership club, I'm so proud with other members. Members are doing well, and that's very good. They normally say, once you want to know that you are a good teacher, you'll see it by seeing people that you teach becoming richer than you. I don't know where to get that. You get this, guys. I hope you get it. If you teach people, if I teach sheikhs and sheikhs end up being richer than me, then I'm a good teacher. Did you get it? But if I teach sheikhs and sheikhs is not doing well, then that means I'm not doing well. And then guess what? The objective is not to change the entire society. Change one person. Change one person and you realize that, no, you have planted the seed. Now, I've got 2 members. I've got a lot of members who are doing well in the club. And I'm happy and I'm proud of that. And then others, they said they want their information to be kept confidential, which is fine. If you consider the Poppy Act, I'm not going to name their name, but I can share what they've achieved. I've got 1 member from Frankfurt. You know Frankfurt, guys? In the Free State. This lady calls me. She listened to me on the CDFM one day. She called me, said, Dada Shabala, I normally listen to you. And then she said to me, I want to know, how do I make money? I did the same thing, just like I did to the rest. I said, it's very simple, my sister. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Said, what do you mean, Dada Shabala? I said, start learning by teaching yourself money. She said, Dada Shabala, where am I going to go and learn about money? I said, no, read books that teaches about money, read biographies about the rich people, then you'll make money. Then she said, but I don't know which book to start. I said, fortunately enough, at the Big R, we have about 4 books that I've written. So you can start buying those books. She bought all of them, that lady. And then she kept on calling me. Then I said, we have started a membership club. Join the membership club. And then she joined, but I encouraged her. I said, you know what? Don't join alone. You must also bring your husband to be part of the club, because I don't want you to sing something and your husband is singing another tune. Because once you have that, you won't have the common goal. So it's better if both of you are having the same vision. All right. Unlike this one has got this vision, the other one's got. And fortunately enough, she brought her husband. They are both members of the club. And now we have 2 groups. We have membership club, we have support group. And they both join membership club and support group. Support group is different to membership club. Membership club, this is what we do. We teach you about money. All right. And then at the same time, there's network session. The support group, we look at your family. I don't know. It's like you guys got cut. Are you still there?
No, I'm there. I'm there.
Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
Peter, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't see your pictures.
I'm there.
Okay, there you are. Now, then the support group, we look at Peter's family. We then say, Peter, what is your budget? And I don't talk to Peter alone. I want Peter, Peter's wife, Peter's children, everybody who have influence on your budget. We look at it collectively. And then once we look at the budget collectively, then we'll be able to see where you are making mistake in terms of your budget. And remember, once your children start seeing your budget, they will start understanding how you use your money. When they see you driving your car, they will understand that, no, this car does not belong to daddy. It still belongs to the bank. So the daddy has to pay the bond or has to pay the car installment. So they'll start understanding. Our children, they will ask us money right at the beginning of the month. We say we don't have money. They will ask money at the end of the month. We continue to say we don't have money. Then the children, they start losing hope. They say, this guy is working, but he always does not have money because they don't see the flow of it. So that's very important that they can see the flow. So that is why when we discuss this budget with you and the family. And guess what? That lady today, she bought herself a property. And then she partitioned it into 6 rooms to do a student accommodation. That student accommodation is getting about 2,000 per room. All in all, she's getting about 12,000. And then she applied for a bond. I'm still gonna teach you how to use that, how to use debt to get rich. He applied for the bond and the bond repayment is 5,000. Now guess what? She's making 7,000 extra every month. She went further now because I taught her already. Because I don't undermine anyone. I know all of you guys are intelligent. You have brilliant ideas. You just wanted somebody to show their light and you can do amazing things. She did this. She then applied with NSFAS to say, NSFAS, I've got kids who are staying at my property. Can you pay the accommodation for them? NSFAS has approved. You see how brilliant it is? Then I went further to say to her, you can maximize on that profit. She said, how? And the child said, let me tell you how to do it. Look for somebody who cooks very well, but make sure that food security take care of it in terms of making sure that the food is clean, hygiene and everything. Then when she cooks, those kids, they come and study. Whoever cooks for them. And then you add another money. It doesn't end there. Get somebody else who can clean their washing and iron the washing. You add another money. So can you see? It becomes more and more. Did you understand? So for me, that was the very, very proudest moment for me. And I've already made an appointment with her. Sorry about that I'm going to drive down to Frankfurt one day. I want to take a video of the place, everything, and then so that we document it. So that's a success story for me. And then there's another one in Sharpeville. She's a teacher. And as we were talking, I kept on saying, you know what? Business that starts with big money, it's not a good one. Because once you lose money, it's going to be difficult how to recover. Start simple. And I told her about the story of how I started my business. Remember I said I started by writing a book and I didn't have money. Writing a book, I had knowledge. I just decided to put it down. That's when everything started. So I said, you start with simple things. Don't complicate things, because when you complicate things, it's going to be very difficult for you to cope. And then she asked me how, I said, no, it's very simple. Let's look, let's explore. There is business that is very, very simple, which is food. Everybody wants to eat. All right. And I said, just explore. What can you do? I said, have you ever seen the chicken? You know, you buy them as they small as they are, and they are very cheap. You grow them and sell them. That lady started.
I'm on a Zoom call. I'll call you back now.
And as I speak, that lady, that lady today, she is doing extremely well. All right. Yes, there are difficulties. Even last night, I was speaking to her, finding out what's happening. She was telling me now it's winter. Because it's winter, they die, and so on and so on. There are challenges. It's not going to be smooth. Never be fooled. Nothing is easy. Even today, as much as we run business, we still face challenges. There are times where we don't have money, but we soldier on. Remember, one of the R words is what? It's resilience. You weather the storm. You don't say, oh, because I have this problem, and then you give in. No, don't give in. You must be resilient. All right, you must weather the storm. You must go out there and say, I'll fight and until I succeed. All right. Now, my book was completed in 2001 by November. And then that's when I completed my book. Let's see now. And then the very same 2001, mid-December, around the 15th or 16th, I met Chomani of Lesedi FM. I hope you guys know him. He's now retired now. We had a chat at the SABC. Chomani was so taken up. He said, you know what, the following year, which is 2002, I want you on my show for the whole year, every Thursday, explain how money works. Then I started featuring at that show with Chomani. That's when things started changing. You know, and remember Chomani, he's got a lot of followers. And then things started happening, you know. And then the books, firstly, I could not use bookshop because I was the first writer. But because now I was trending on radio, now the bookshop wanted the books. Then my book ended up being an exclusive books. And then there was the first company that started selling my book is called Fascination Book. And then then the radio was just building the branding of the big R just to grow. And then, so now, but as I said, as much as we started 2001, there have been ups and downs. You know, the road was tough. 2003, 2004, things were really, really tough, irrespective of what. But the good news is I was always surviving. My head was always above the water. So a friend of mine visited me at some point. He said, hey, I don't understand why you struggle because you are a former teacher. Why can't you start training? I said, that's a good idea. You know, the symbol of this, of saying this guy, he said, you're a former teacher. Being a former teacher, why don't you start with training? Now, I'm referring to people, all of us, we have knowledge, like you, Shakes, a former footballer. The first thing that you do business around the thing that you understand better, the thing that you know it better. Then that will make it easy. Because if you start business in the field that you don't understand, no. Firstly, you have to understand the business itself before you can deal with the storms of the business. That is going to make it difficult. But if you start a business in the field that you know, you are not going to struggle to understand the business better. And once you fight the storm of the business, then you'll be able to sail through. The reason why my first two businesses failed, the one of the butcher and the chicken food outlet, is because it was a new terrain for me. I had to learn afresh. I remember one of the guys who was training us, he used to work for Nando's, and then he was training us how to grill that chicken and so on and so on. You know, firstly, you are struggling with your product even before you can start to sell. So that is why it's wise. You need to start a business in the field that at least you have a knowledge on. Just like you shakes in football, that's where it should start. All right. But I'm happy me and you are working on that one. We are currently working on that one, and then to build it. It makes it easy. All right. So then I started fighting for accreditation. We were accredited. The first guy again who gave me job for that training was Peter Baladakis. Remember I told you about Peter Baladakis? Gave me a job. By that time, they were having about 6, 7 pick and pays. They were not yet up to this point in time. No, probably 5. Then he said, come and train my employees about food safety and all that. We'll pay you for that. Guess what? I dive in. I went in, did the job. Now the good news about, remember I spoke of the relationship. Remember I said I lost 50,000 of this guy. Still, he was not angry with me. He still wanted to give me the opportunity to build something. All right. Now, here I am. Now I'm training his employees, helping me to build business. That's relationship. And then guess what? Remember I said relationship, it's a two-way traffic. Peter was not doing me a favor. He was not like, Sobri, here's 50,000, go. No, no, no. He was saying, Sobri, how can I help you and help me? It was important for him to train his employees about food safety. So in the process, we're helping each other. That's a relationship. Does it make sense, guys? Oh, by then there were 4. There were 4. So I was training all their employees in those 4 setup. And then as I get the money, I would always reinvest it back to the business. That's where a lot of people are missing a point. If they get money, instead of reinvesting to the business, what do? They buy big cars, they buy big houses, and then all those big houses and cars are on credit, or it's debt. The next thing, they can't cope, and then they collapse. When you get the money, reinvest it back to the business and build a business. You'll see me, I'm still driving small cars. I don't have big cars. I like big cars, make no mistake. I'm not saying big car is a wrong thing, but the timing is important, all right? Buy small cars, buy them cash, because I don't understand, why do I have an installment of a car when it depreciates instead of appreciating? So that's the history of the company. Then 2007, I got the first tender in the Free State, in the municipalities, training their ABET people. It was 500K per annum. Per annum, look at that, per annum. That was the beginning of big things, remember. Now, the person who also gave me that profile, remember Peter Baladakis, all right? I've trained. So you use that as you tender, that I've done this, I've done that. At least you have what you call a track record. And guess what? There is a myth that when people tender, it's wrong. There's nothing wrong. All these businesses, they are built around tender. Apple is tendering. Coca-Cola is tendering. Vodacom is tendering. MTN is tendering. Never be fooled. There's nothing wrong with tender, but there's everything wrong to be corrupt. So let us not mix the two. All right. I got my first tender in 2007 for 500K. That was the beginning of big things. In 2008, I enrolled to be a debt counselor. For one simple reason, I wanted to understand how money works. And I knew that debt, it's money. So that is why I decided to become a debt counselor. I would learn about that. I would get an experience as people go through their difficulties. What makes people to go difficult? Because I'm from there myself. Don't be shocked, Sheikhs. I'm from there. I used to know all the Mashonisas in Kempton Park. All right. So it's not new. You see, me, I'm an open book. The more I talk about my difficulties, the more I solve them. I know people start saying, no, I can't tell people that I was with the Mashonisas. Well, that has been life for all of us, the majority of us. And that was during the time that I didn't know what money is. Then in 2009, I started to taste what you call financial freedom because I dealt with all my liabilities. All my debts were sorted out. And then I didn't have debts. Then I was starting to build. So I'm just giving you a hope. And at that same year, 2009, I paid 65,000 Rand to be on Robert Kiyosaki's coaching program. 65,000 Rand for a year to be on Robert's coaching program. And guess what was the coaching program? The coaching program was nothing else. They were not teaching me do 1, 2, 3. No. They would call me once a week. And it was every Mondays, 6 o'clock for 30 minutes. They would call me once a week and then we discuss. They would ask me what I was doing over the week and what I'm intending to doing next week. And as I share, they would also give me examples of other people. No answers. And it's clear, even us here, the big R. In fact, I should have done the disclaimer. This teaching does not mean that after this teaching, Sheikhs, you'll be rich. No, that's not what I'm saying. This teaching will open up your mind. And once it opens up your mind, I can tell you are very intelligent. You can come up with big things. I've just given you the example of Ndu. Well, fortunately enough, they are Chabalalas, both of them. Ndu and his husband, Chabalala, they are the ones who are owning that property I was telling you about. Then the other one is Mrs. Mahlasela. She's a teacher by profession, the one who's the chicken project. And there are a whole lot of them. And I'm happy to see that. So I trust that I'll give you the light. So this is what these guys were doing. They were just showing me how to do things, but they were not telling me that this is right, this is wrong. Because no one can guarantee that if you go this way, you'll win. If you go that way, you won't win. It's like a soccer coach. A soccer coach will tell you that, you know what? If Sheikhs, you can put pressure on that guy, I can see he's getting tired. Just be on him. Doesn't mean that will be the answer. All right? But it can be an answer. Do you understand? So this is what these guys were teaching me. And one of the skills that they taught me in 2009, how to raise money without putting a cent. But they didn't show me how to do it. But they were saying, this is what you do. And I've tried that skill from 2009. Struggle. How am I going to do what these guys? And as I was doing, you know, I was failing. What? You know what? And you know, things started changing. You know, and then in 2018, from 2009, 9 years, the whole 9 years. In 2018, I managed to break that skill that they were teaching me. I raised 3.2 million without putting a cent down. Now, remember, people are not the same. It's like cars. I always make this example. There is a Beetle, there is a BMW. Both of them will reach Cape Town, but they will reach Cape Town in different times. But the fact of the matter, they will reach Cape Town. So even people in life, that's how it's going to happen. So I'm saying it took me 9 years to be able to do that, to use the skill that they taught me. All right? But others, it will take them few months. And guess what? My son is a musician. I teach him all these things. My son raised, I think to date, he has raised almost 2 million now, if I'm not mistaken, without putting a cent. But for him, it was quicker than me. We are not the same. So you need to accept that. And when you have difficulties, when you have difficulties, don't just say, now one is wrong. No, man, it's part of the game. All right. I can tell you now, most of us, because of what is happening in the country, we are lamenting, hey, people are going to lose jobs, things are going to be tough. Let me tell you, that's where the opportunity comes. That's when the rich really becomes rich during this time. All right, but it's a skill how to do that. All right. Now, those are some of the things that you you learn. As much as I already indicated, as much as okay, fine, you have an issue, and but at least as time goes on, you'll become a better person. You become a better person. I like Lionel Messi, guys will pardon me, but the same with Ronaldo. Ronaldo says he practices a lot. All right. Messi says he practices a lot. I don't know whether guys have you noticed, Messi is still practicing today to score from the corner kick. Because I think that's one goal that is missing in his curriculum vitae. He wants to score that goal. Then I think he would have wrapped up everything. Well done for him for winning Copa America. I think now he needs the World Cup. Then he would have done everything. Still today, he still tried to score from the corner. And you can even see when they are playing matches, he still tries. All right. Life is about that. When we're doing our sports this morning, no, I think that was Tuesday. I showed the times that Messi lost the Copa America. And this is what he said as he was losing the Copa America. He lost it all the time in the finals, all the time, 3 times in the finals. He said, I want this. I want to win with my country. And I'm not going to say when, but I'll keep on trying. And he was not guaranteed that one day I'll win. And guess what? After the game, I'm sure, guys, you saw what happened. All the Argentinian players, they just went to him. Because they were happy for him, because they knew that this is the prize he wanted. So what I'm trying to say, you need to keep on trying. On good beach, you get it chase. If the storm comes, it's fine, let it come. But don't sit there and say, now I'm defeated, but others are doing it. No, soldier on. You'll never know when it's going to happen. And sometimes when it happens, it will happen big time. Now you may ask, where did I get the inspiration? McDonald's restaurant has been very inspirational for me. I would see this, the big M, that's where the big R started. The big M emblem. That's when I started with the big R. I said, okay, I will say the big R. McDonald's restaurant was an inspiration for me. Virgin Group, Richard Branson's businesses, all his businesses are called Virgin. Virgin Airline, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Bank, and all that. So that is why the big R, we have the big R Foundation, the big R Solution, the big R Financial Services. Everything is the big R. I've been influenced by this, of course. Apple has been very, very, very influential in my life. Coca-Cola, I respect Coca-Cola. But for many, many, many years, Coca-Cola is the leading brand. So these, well, I cannot forget the Rich Dad Company, Robert Kiyosaki's company. So these are, companies that, inspired me. I'm not saying I'm doing well, I'm trying. And I hope to do well, and I hope my kids will do better than me. I hope you guys will do better than me, because in that way, that would mean I would have delivered. Steve Jobs is my role model. I've already told about it. Robert Kiyosaki is my role model. Warren Buffett, Donald Trump. You may not like Donald Trump as a politician, but as a businessman, he's a brilliant businessman. Warren Buffett, he says, now remember I was telling you about reading. He says every day he reads for 6 hours. Every day. Ask all of them. Go and ask Jeff Bezos. All of them, they read. He says he reads biographies, he reads newspapers, stock market charts. His time is scheduled. In this day and age, there is no excuse, guys. With social media, information is everywhere. Get it on social media. You can learn every day. I always argue, sitting down, watching the soapy. Yes, it's nice to watch the soapy they teach. Remember the soapy they teach? But too much of a thing sometimes is not good. But you find that a lot of people, they spend too much of their time in front of the television, not doing their work. There's nothing wrong with television, but you need to start to balance. And what is most important, do what you love. Pito, I hope there's something that you love. What do you love, Pito?
To read into the Chala.
Yeah?
I like reading. I love reading.
You love reading. So
Yeah.
that should be your starting point. Your business should emanate from what you love. Shakes, I know you're a footballer. You still love football today. That's where you should start. Something that you are passionate about it should be the first thing to start with. Because you know when you do something that you are passionate about it, you'll do it. It's like a hobby. And you end up excelling. You understand? And guess what? This is very, very important, guys. This point, remain humble. Never be arrogant. Remain humble. All right? Steve Jobs, this guy is great. An ardent reader, I told you. You know, when you go to his bio, this guy, at some point, he went to India. All right? Without the approval of his parents. He went to India, doing some research, you know, and reading a lot, you know. Steve is, you know, life. It's very inspiring and very irritating to a lot of other people, but very inspiring to a lot of other people. Well, I don't remember any businessman who can finish his talk without quoting Steve Jobs. Hence, he died at the age of 50, very young. But the man transformed 7 industries alone. Alone. And Steve would emphasize on the product more than anything else. You know, I always tell the people that I work with, I said, guys, it's not about the money. It's about the product. Build the product. Yes, money is important, all right? Being important as it is, because remember, money will help us to improve our system, like this Zoom thing. We'll have to improve it, equipment and so on. Hence, we need money. That is why you see our membership club is so cheap. It's not a very expensive membership, isn't it, Peter? Peter?
Yes, into the Chala.
It's so cheap. It's affordable, isn't it? It's not about money, but of course we need money. All right, cash flow. In business, you need to understand it. It's a very big concept, cash flow. You need to understand that one. So Steve would emphasize on the product. And guess what? Steve, being a billionaire, this guy was sleeping on the floor. Can you believe that? And he didn't care about brand cars and whatever. That was not Steve. His wife says they used to fight him, you know, to move from where they were to a suburb that will befit them. He went there, but they stayed without sofas in the house. Because Steve would ask questions, why should I buy sofas? And because he was very influential, People like Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they would visit him just to tap into his brain. What does he see in the future in business? The wife says, when those people were coming as my guests, I would rent the sofas because this guy wouldn't allow me to buy sofas. So I think what he was trying to emphasize that it's not about money. All right? It's about the product. And that is why his slogan, he would always emphasize the customer's experience. I want the customer to experience the best product. Tell me today, who do you know in the cycle out of 2 or 3 who don't have an Apple product? Either Apple, Mac computer, iPhone, or anything that has phone. That's how influential Steve is. You know, at some point I was very proud to see Apple being the best recognized brand ahead of Coca-Cola, because no one has beaten Coca-Cola. All right? So in other words, Steve achieved one of the goals that he wanted, but these were all the sacrifices that he took. All right? And then Steve was a marketeer at core. The most important thing, guys, in business, you must be good in marketing. That one, it goes without no saying. And you need to understand political. I'm not saying you need to be a politician, but you need to understand what's happening. People like Steve Jobs, they still keep in touch with politicians. The business people that we have today, they keep in touch with the politicians. Why? Because politics and money, they go hand in glove. What is happening now in the country, it will have an impact economically. So if you don't know what's happening, then you won't understand. Now, the big R deals with money. We are dealing with training. We have written books. We are doing debt counseling. We are doing consulting. We're having financial services. We have social responsibility. Now, social responsibility, it's important, guys. You know, we are from the township. You know, you see, if I talk about my history, how I grew up, it's terrible. So for me, it's always important to go back to the township and plow back. You can go to Tembisa. People will tell you, ask Panyaza Lucifi, the current MEC for education, he will tell you what I've done in Tembisa. I've done a lot in terms of plowing back in Tembisa. I was one of the people who founded the Voice of Tembisa. All right. So there's a whole lot of things that I've done. I've helped students. The current MEC, MMC for economic and finance, Egrudeni, is one of my products who benefited from my project, you know, and helping them as students. So that's me, because I believe in the concept that a child is raised by a village. All right? I don't want to die having not contributed positively, changing the life of one person. I'm not focusing on many people. One person, it's enough. So that is why the Big R, we have the Big R Foundation. The idea of the Big R Foundation is to change the lives of ordinary people. All right? What is money? Will you believe me when I say money is trust? May not believe me now, but as we go on, I'll show you. Will you believe me when I say money is gold? Money is knowledge. Money is mind. Money is power. We know about this. Money is power. With money, you can do everything. What is money? The rands and the cents, the silver coins, whatever you call it, they are just a medium of exchange. All right? For me to get a good or a service that I require. If I want food, I don't eat 10 rand. I take 10 rand to buy a pie. In actual fact, what do I want? I want a pie. So these rands and cents, they're just a medium of exchange. That is why they are called currencies. All right. Now, the history of money. You need to know where money comes from. Anything that you want to know and understand, you need to know where it comes from. All right. It started in 1200 BC. BC stands for before Christ. 1200 years before Christ. That's when money started. And then AD stands for after the death of Christ. For those who are Christians like me and you, this does not mean that we undermine other religion, like people who are traditionalists, the Muslim or the Islamic. No, that's not the case. All right. I'm just talking from a Christian point of view, but I respect all religions. And I understand all religions are very important. So it's a medium of exchange, like I said. When this thing started, it started a long time when people want to exchange goods among themselves. For instance, I'll give you an example. If I have chickens and then you have cows, that's how it started, and I want milk, they would say, okay, let me give you so much, this number of chickens, and then you give me a liter of milk so that people can live. I want maize, I don't have maize, I'll give you my goat, you give me maize. That's when the concept of money live. Interaction, relationship, people relating. Remember I spoke of one of the positive R words is relationship. Relating, as people relate. That was the beginning of money. People will exchange things. But the problem that made people to finally come up with the concept of money was when they could not measure. If I want a liter of milk, how many eggs should I give you? How many chickens should I give you? All right. So that was the problem. Now they had to think deeper. So people started giving value to objects. They started saying, no, we'll use objects in the form of the measurement. So in other words, that object will measure that if you give me two objects, then I can get one chicken. You give me three objects, I give you so much. So that's when the concept of money started. All right. It started during the bartering and exchange, as people were trading, the bartering and exchange. Bartering is exchanging products or services for commodities. When one type of commodity is traded to another type of community, and that's what we call bartering. Now, these commodities were called commodity money. By that time, money was called commodity money. They were just exchanging goods, right? I hope you guys are still following, okay? If you don't understand, raise your hands, ask questions, I'll answer, all right? And then things were used as commodities. People in the past, olden days, remember I said this thing started 1,200 years before Christ. They were using things such as grain as a form of money. They were using cattle, in other words, livestock, as a form of money. They were using tea, whatever you call it, salt, seeds, and many other commodities. Those were things that were used in exchange of whatever that we want. So that was money. I hope you guys are following. I hope. All right. And then object use as money. Now, they started with cowrie shells. You know the cowrie shells? I don't know, Sheikhs, maybe you're still very young. When I was young, when we were going to Durban, by the way, you once stayed in Durban, people would take the shells from the sea. And I could not understand, they were saying it's money. I don't know whether you were there by that time or by that time it already passed. But in my time, people would carry the big cane fruit put all the shells there and put them there. It was a form of money. So in the past, then from there, it moved from the cowrie shells to metals. All right, people were now start using metals, and then it transformed to paper money. Like today now, we have 10 rands, we have 20 rands, we have 200 rands. It moved to paper money. Guess what? Today, the computer. Remember I told about the phone? That with the phone, when Steve Jobs said, use the phone for everything, today you can do anything with the phone. How do you communicate with our members? Simple, by communicating. This WhatsApp things and all other things, they help us to talk easily. All right, I can see that Peter has raised a hand. Peter, let me hold a little bit. Ask your question.
Thank you, Untitled Chapter. I just want to understand the transition. For instance, if people were using metals, what will be the signs or the indication that now they want to move from metal to use paper money?
Paper money. Do you mind to hold a little bit? I'm feeling cold where I am. Let me just put my heater on.
How are you, Shakes? How are you, Shakes? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
So, Prapito, how are you?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yes, man. Good to see you, Bob.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So you are from
Sure,
where?
sure.
Where are you from, Shakes?
Okay, guys. Peter will talk now. Peter, do me a favor. Yeah, let's see your picture, Peter. Because if you don't see your picture, yeah, that would be nice. It's like we are talking to a ghost. We don't want to talk to a ghost. Your question was, when do people know that the transition has started? We'll never know, but the forces of change will show us. And I'll show you what do I mean, all right? So that you understand very well. Today, as we speak, do you know that this new world, the computer world, they are trying to break the monopoly of us being controlled by the reserve banks in the world, hence the cryptocurrency, all right? And that movement is slow, but there are already people who have started, all right? But now in the process, you have governments who still want to have control over us and makes it difficult. But the day when they master it, you'll see. So it will happen automatically. Do you get a point? I hope I answer your question. Like for instance now, cryptocurrency is coming. We like it or not, it's coming. I think the governments in the world, they just want to find a way. How can they control it? Remember with Mike Zuckerberg, when he wanted to introduce his crypto. And Mike Zuckerberg with Facebook, he's got about 3 billion people who are on Facebook. And you can imagine if Mike Zuckerberg can break away, what's going to happen to the monetary system? It's going to collapse. Because in these 3 billion people, it's not only Mark Zuckerberg only. It's Mark Zuckerberg and other partners. Remember when I talk about relationship, when I say partners, I refer to people who are running the ships to transport things. Once all those people buy into Mark Zuckerberg's crypto, Libra. And Mark says, you don't buy anything if you don't use my Libra. You see what's going to happen to the monetary system of the world? You get it? So that is why Mark Zuckerberg was summoned many times by the government of America to say, explain yourself. Do you understand? So a short answer is, it will never come like at once, like today we start a new money system. It's a gradual thing, but it will finally happen. I hope I answer your question. I don't have the right or wrong answer to this, but I'm saying the forces of nature will finally force people to go to a particular direction. Are you answered?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dad.
Okay. So that's what is happening. I hope you understand. So it's a medium of exchange. So we will see what's going to happen. Now, when I talk about trust, remember I said trust is money. Now let me explain. What do I mean when I say trust is money? I'll give you one example. You know, for any object or anything to be regarded as money, it must have what you call an inherent value. If it does not have an inherent value, it's worthless. When they talk about the rand is going down, is going up, you know what does that mean? It's the confidence in the currency. All right. Now let me make it simpler and bring it closer to home. What happened to the Zim dollar? The people of Zimbabwe just lost confidence in the Zim dollar. It was worthless. Even if you could have zillion Zim dollars, people would say, this is rubbish, they would ban it. Trust. Trust is money. So if people lose trust in the currency, that currency is gone. So fortunately, the time that we are living in, we have examples, just like I've just done about the Zim dollar. The people of Zimbabwe, they just lost confidence in Zimbabwean dollar. And then what happened to it? It collapsed. They had to replace it at some point. They wanted to use the rand. So do you understand what I'm saying? Money is trust. It must have that inherent value. I'll give you another example. Remember, when you say it must have an inherent value, it must be worth it to the people who are agreeing to exchange. If sheikhs give me 200 rand, how am I going to believe that this 200 rand is genuine? But once I have a mind to say this 200 is genuine, and sheikhs also believe that it's 200 rand, then there's trust, then it's money. Now I'll give another example so that you understand it better. When you go to the bank and borrow money, okay, sheikhs?
Yes.
The banks will say, if you don't have debts, they're not going to give you money. Have you asked yourself why? You know why? Because if you don't have debts, they don't have the history of how sheikhs conduct himself when he has money.
Yeah, man.
So the trust drops. But if you have debts and you pay them well, say, this guy can be trusted. You see, he had a debt here. Hence, you have your credit bureau. Your credit bureau are there to help them to understand, how can I trust the sheikhs? So now you understand why I'm saying trust is money. Now, let me expand a little bit further. If I work with sheikhs, I pick up a slight mistrust about sheikhs. Do you think I'll work with him?
No.
Do you think I'll work with you?
No.
Not at all. So this might look just as a concept, but it's a very big concept that needs to be treated with care. I must trust you. I give you 10 rand, sheikhs. I borrow you 10 rand. You say, Ndadesha, I'll bring it on the 15th. You don't bring it. You bring it after 6 months. Do you think I'll trust you anymore?
No.
When you come, I'll never give you money anymore.
Mhm.
Because you cannot be trusted. So what I'm trying to say to all members, trust is very important. It's something that you need to work on every day. And let me tell you something. People will say, trust, you gain it. All right? You don't buy it. You can buy trust, but the trust that you gain, it outweighs the trust that you bought. Remember the old man, Rolihlahla Mandela. As long as you say Mandela, everybody would trust you. You get it? So that is why I say money is trust. Once you know that, sheikhs, you're on your way of making money. I'm saying, even if you're not trustworthy, you need to start working on it. All right? That you work with partners. Once you work with partners, make sure that your partners trust you. In return, they will trust you. If they're not trustworthy, if people are not trustworthy, don't waste time, sheikhs. Take them out.
Mhm.
Don't waste time. Take them out. You don't have time. Peter, I don't see you anymore. Is that clear? Does it make sense, Peter?
Yes, sir, it does that.
Yeah, if you don't trust people, Peter, don't waste time. Move on. And a trust, you gain it. You don't force it. You know, when you force people to trust you, that's not trust, man. It must be spontaneous. Sheikhs, you know, you played football. There are those players. You know, I remember, you know, Jomo. Jomo is still my best footballer in this country. You know, Jomo, at some stage, he was big. He couldn't move. But Pirates would have him in the squad just because they trusted him. And the mere fact that he was there, the opponent would shiver. And half of the job is done. That's how powerful trust is. All right? And look at Barcelona players. If Messi is not there, you'll see them. They're like a headless chicken. They don't know where to go. But let Messi come in. Everything changed. They start believing. They say themselves that with Messi, no, we trust. We can beat anyone. That's trust. As long as people believe that there is value in this money, it will continue. All right? Once people start losing faith, it drops. Now, 1000 BC, the first use of metal as money is believed to have been around 3,000 years ago in China. 3,000, not 100 years, but 3,000 years ago. and then around China. That was the metal. And 600 BC, and then people started using coins, the minted coin, all right, around where Turkey is today. And those coins were made out of gold and silver alu, printed with a lion's head on the side. I don't know, maybe that is why our money has the lion, I don't know. But that's the history of money, all right? And then paper money started 1,000 years back during the Tang dynasty in China. And the banking system, not a banking system. If you know the banking system, where did it start? It started in Italy. Those who have done history at school. There is a period in history, there is a period which we call the Dark Ages. Ne? And then there is also another period which is called the Renaissance. The Dark Ages, if I am to explain the Dark Ages, people believe that during that time, people knew nothing, nothing. So that is why they were calling it the Dark Ages. Then the age that followed the Dark Ages, which is the Renaissance. The Renaissance is an Italian word, means rebirth, renewal. Because people believe that during that time, people started seeing things, the people started having light. That is why, all right? Although the current, the new historians, sorry, they don't believe that during the Dark Ages, people knew nothing. They believe that people knew something. I'll give you an example. It's like a child. All right. Case, you've got kids, isn't it? Now, I'm sure you saw your kids when they were young. Doesn't mean that they know nothing. They know something. Let me tell you what happened in my life. My last born, my younger son, his name is Siabonga. He was born. When he was born, the day he was born, the mom and the family from the mom, because by then I was still struggling, I didn't have the proper place, I was renting. They went with him. I never spent, I think I spent one night or one day with him. They went away with him at that age to Free State, where the mom comes from. I stayed for about 3 months, not seeing him. But something magical happened. And I was worried, né? As I was going down to the Free State. I was going to meet him for the second time now. I was worried that, hey, this boy, he doesn't know me. It will take time for him to know me and all that. And I picked up the news that he didn't want to interact with anyone at that age. He just wanted his mom. But you know what happened that day when I arrived? And they said, no, he doesn't want to talk to anyone. When I arrived, I was in a dining room. They brought him. You know, he just came to me smiling, happy. And they never saw it. Now, what I'm trying to say, you see, you may think that the child doesn't know at that age. That bond was already there. You could see that, oh, this is my father. And it was shocked. They say, how did he come to you? Because he doesn't want anyone except his mom. So that is why I'm saying there's nothing like people know nothing. Even during the Dark Ages, people knew something. So that is why some of the historians are saying there was no Dark Ages. Maybe people were not yet educated, but people knew something. All right. So I was just explaining the ages. All right. Now, the bank system started during the Renaissance period. And then it started in Italy. And it was one of the famous medical bank. It was founded by the guy Giovanni Medici in 1937. It's not long, during this century, in 1937. And then thereafter, guys, if you remember quite well, I don't know whether you watch movies, you know, old movies, your Spartacans, what have you. I see that Peter has raised his hands. Let's wait. Peter, any question?
And then where is Rothschild family coming? And I'm told there was an event where all these rich families, wealthy families met to come with a plan of banking system. Where does that comes in?
Okay, I'll tell you
at this point.
Yeah, I'll tell you that story of the Rothschild. But for the purpose of today's training, I'll never do it. Okay. But you are correct to ask me that question. I'll still teach about that. Because the truth of the matter is the whole world is run by the Rothschild. All right? So it's a very important subject that people should know about. So allow me not to talk about it today. I'll tell you the day when I'm gonna touch on that one. All right. So allow me. Am I allowed?
Yes, Ngadi Chabalala.
Yazi bathini ngesizulu bathi ayidle ishiyela ungayidli yonke. Shakes is a Zulu, you will understand that. Ayidle ishiyela asingayidli yonke, you know.
Yeah.
You know how you eat an elephant? Piece by piece until you finish it.
Yeah.
You know, me, I'm a Zulu, Shakes knows. They say when Dingane was killed, they were saying you know, until he died. So now let's go slowly. We will come to that one, but I'm happy that you raised that. I'll tell you at some point. I'll tell you when I'm dealing with that one. Okay. Then, now listen to this. This is very important, guys. You need to know this because this helps you to understand the intricacies of money. What is money? Now, when these banks were started, the money, the currency, the 10 rand, the 1 rand, the dollar, the yen, all this money, what do you call it, the franc, all those currencies, they were backed by gold. You get it? They were backed by gold. No, in other words, they would say, I have 10 rand, then I'll have so much gold. If you give me this gold, then they'll get their 10 rand. But the real money is what? Gold.
I'm lost in the Chabalala. Can you please repeat that? I'm lost in that.
Now the money system, this is how it works. The currency, the rands, the 10 rands, all right? The dollars, okay? The German marks, okay? The yen, whatever you call it, they are called currencies. You know why they are called currencies? They move. The word currency has been derived from science word, current. So that is why sometimes they say, no, rent has lost value. Due to what? Due to inflation. That's a subject for another day. I won't teach you about this now. But my third book, How to Get Out of Bad Debt and Use Other People's Money and Resources, explain what inflation is. I don't know whether Peter have got that book. If you have that book, you can read and understand what inflation. But I'll teach about inflation at some point. Now, they are called currencies. They are affected by inflation. Now, the real money is gold. At the Reserve Bank, South African Reserve Bank, they keep gold. But remember, gold, ibima. So who can go around carrying gold? You cannot go around carrying gold, which is the real money. Instead, we'll give you the check and the rands. All right? Which are what? A representative of the real money. So gold back the currency. You get it now? The real money is what? Is gold. I'll still show you what is the real money. Remember I said, I'm going to say, Shakes, Shakes is not going to give me 10 rand. No, it doesn't address my problem. Shakes is going to say, Brasop, now 10 rand. And what do? I go to the shop and buy a pie and eat the pie. What is going to satisfy me is the pie, not the 10 rand. You get it? Have I lost you? Shakes, do you get it?
No, I hear you, Brussels.
Yeah. So America went on gold standard in 1900. This is the real stuff now. This is the real stuff for you to understand what money is. In 1971, President Nixon, the American president, separated gold from dollar. He said from now on, the dollar will never be backed by gold. Then the money game changed. What did that say? When the money gold changed, the money changed because the dollar has been separated from gold, the money became a debt. One day we'll talk about it. But that book, the third book, does explain. But one day we'll touch on it. All right. Then the US government began to print paper money to finance the Civil War in July 1861. Remember we said, if only if you trust that item, it becomes money. If you don't trust it, forget it. All right? And then these paper notes were worth 1 cent, 5 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents. And then the paper used in US bill is not made from trees. Remember the paper is done from trees? But this one was made out of cotton and linen. 75% of the cotton, 25% of the linen. Are you still following, guys?
Yeah.
Now, the money system evolved. Now it went where? To credit. Remember I said 1971, the money changed. It became debt. Then there was now the introduction of credit cards. Okay? Who introduced credit card? Frank X. McNamara, the head of Hamilton Credit Corporation. He's the guy who invented the credit card. All right. Now, today we are talking of the Google Wallet. Sometimes we hear that, no, I'll do EFT. You don't have to come. You know, there's PayPal, you know, PayPal, which was started by Elon Musk. So now money is like that. It's computer now. It's laptop. It's cell phone. You know, to pay my bills and so on. So that's the transformation of money. There's 6 stages of the evolution of money. How in money evolves. Now I'm giving you the 6 stages. The bartering. Remember we spoke of the bartering. That's where it started. Commodity money. Remember we spoke of the commodity money. Metallic money. Paper money. Credit money. Debt, credit card, you name them. Electronic money. Today, people are talking of blockchain. It's coming. It's coming. It's already, in fact, it's not coming. It's here already. It's a matter of time. So those are 6 stages. The rich people that you know today, you know the Wright brothers? These are the guys who started the aeroplane. Can you imagine? These guys started aeroplane. Where are they now? Their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they'll still benefit. These are the guys who started the aeroplane. You know, people who think out of the box and be imaginary and think, I see your hand, Peter, I'll come back to you. People who says, I can do things. Remember I said, money is mind. Remember that. The Wright brothers believed that you can fly from here to the other side of the world. They started the aeroplane. It takes guts and resilience to do those things. All right, Peter, your question.
Yes, Mr. Chavala, how the great-grandchildren of Wright brothers are benefiting from aeroplane idea?
So the mere fact that the rights still belongs to them. Whoever does what, they'll continue to benefit.
So it means whoever who
do aeroplane or whatever, the Wright brothers still benefit. It's like music. It's like
please
music.
Please break it in the Chavala.
Let's talk about music.
Okay, that.
Right? You have Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. As long as they still play that song, whoever wrote that song still benefit. The movie, as long as we see the Vikings on television, they'll still continue to get the money.
I'm sorry, Dr. Chavala.
Yeah.
I still don't understand. Yes, Peter created a song.
Yeah.
And then how am I getting that money? And even if my children, I also want them to get that money. How are we doing it? Or how it is done that?
I'll give you another example quickly. You know the YouTube? Shakes knows we have started a YouTube channel. It's sports.
Yeah.
Correct? You go there. You don't pay to do things. You just do your things. Shakes, by the way, congratulations. Your interview with us, it has reached 1,000 mark now. 1,000 views.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
lovely.
Yeah, it has reached 1,000 views. It's our greatest so far. I'm sure we'll do another one as a follow-up.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it. I just wanted to give an example. I've not tasted that. I've not seen it yet, but I'm told this is how it works. When the views increase, do you see sometimes these advert on those interviews or whatever? Once there's advert, Google, wherever they are, they contact the guy who started and say, hey man, there is a bit of money for you. We put it on your account. That's how they make money. Does it make sense now?
Yes,
right.
it does. It
Let
does.
me, okay, let me help you to say this, Peter. If you don't understand today, don't worry, you'll understand over time.
In that.
Is that clear? I was just giving you an example. We are Itola sheikhs.
Yeah, ngiyayithola.
Now,
ngiyamthola noPito ukuthi ubuzana.
Yeah. So, no wonder your big television station, why they want to play in the space of YouTube, social media. Why? Because they've seen things are evolving. How many people, as we go on, Bazo Bugeli TV, watch the space? People will never watch TV anymore. Umuntu ohlala ne usheish ohlala ne phone yakhe abukela izinto lapha ekamereni yakhe. Sheikh's wife and the kid. That's what is going to happen. So now your multi-choice SAB, they don't want to be left behind. So that is why now they're doing it. You know, my son taught me something. My son who's a musician. You know, these boys, man, they're good in algorithm. He said to me, Papa, you know what? I'm not keen to go always on radio. I'd rather be online. I said, why? He said, radio does not make a difference anymore. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. He said, I'll give an example. My son has just released his song is doing well. It's almost 2 weeks. It's now on 300 and it's going to 350,000 views now. I'm watching it very close and see how long is it going to take to reach at 1 million mark. Now, he said to me, you know, Pa, when I do, that's my son. He said, when I do an interview with the radio, then I go and check the stream and see any impact. I don't see any impact. But when I go to YouTube channel and have an interview, when I go to the stream, I see an impact. And not long, I had watched him on one of the YouTube channel. He said, you know, after that YouTube channel, I got 44,000 views. That's the impact that it makes. I don't know whether you get it. And remember, we learn everywhere. You learn from anyone. This is my son. I always teach him. Then he taught me this. I said, nah, that's nice. That's nice. So in other words, you are in the right space. That is why we are doing our YouTube channel. We're still going to grow our YouTube channel. We're still going to do a lot. So I'm just giving you an example. All right, Peter? Yeah, shall we move on? Otherwise, we won't finish. We're supposed to have finished by 1, and we have already passed that. And then Harry Ford is the guy who started Fordcast. Great grandchildren, they still benefit even today. These are the richest people in the world. Bill Gates, Microsoft. You know how Microsoft make money? You don't know. You know how do they make money? We pay, every month we pay. All right, we pay 300. Can you imagine? All of us, we are using Microsoft. If you pay 300, how many are we in the world using Microsoft? Every day, every day. Every month we pay. Michael Dell, the guy who started the Dell computers. Sergey Brin, Google, the guy who started Google. Who doesn't use Google today? Ask me, how does Google make money? You know how does Google make money? Because it has following. We advertise via Google. Does it make sense? Everything's online now. Mark Zuckerberg is changing the world. Facebook. You know what I've seen recently? Facebook is now showing football. Then I foresee the demise of television station. You know, so I'm just showing you. And these guys are business people, the richest guys. So I'm teaching you something that the richest people in the world are in the business class. If you want to be rich and you say, I don't want to be a businessman, you'll never be rich. I'm showing the richest guys. They're all in business. Steve Jobs, Apple computers. Steve, the children, great-grandchildren, they'll still benefit. Well, there are many richest people in the world. I was just giving an example. You know, what do they have in common? They are all dropouts. What does that tell you? School is not the solution. Don't go around tell me I'm a professor, I'm a doctor. No, it's fine. You're a professor, doctor. And funny enough, the majority of professors and doctors are poor. I'm not saying all of them. The majority. Get that language. Well, if I've said it wrongly, I'm not an English person, you'll bear with me. It's a second language or third language to me. But the majority of them are not rich. And the richest guy, the majority of them are dropouts. Not all of them. What's his name? He's a graduate. Donald Trump is a graduate. So not all of them. All right. The Baladakis that I was telling you, they are all graduates, those boys. Peter is an accountant by profession. So I'm not saying you should not be educated. But what I'm trying to say, anyone can be rich. Educated or not educated. And they have integrity, all of them. And what is integrity? Your word is your word. Avuzang Sasubuye, Ngati Shakes has disappeared. I don't know what happened. It does not require you to say this and act opposite. And all of them, they invest in business, the rich guys, real estate, commodities, and paper money, paper assets. And all of them, they have their money in real estate. What is an asset? An asset, anything, as Robert Kiyosaki explains, anything that puts money into your pocket, it is money. All right? It's an asset. But anything that takes money away from your pocket is what? It's a liability. Does it make sense, Peter? Anything that takes money away from your pocket is a liability. But anything that puts money into your pocket, it's an asset. Once you know that, Peter, you're on your way on making money. They say money, any object, tangible or intangible, that is of value to its possessor. When you have 10 rand, it's of value to you, isn't it?
Yes, it
Right?
is.
So yeah, that's an asset. Now, liability, anything that takes money away from you, from your pocket. And I like the way Robert Kiyosaki explains it, makes it easy. Anything that takes money from your pocket is a liability. So what is a liability? It's a debt. No, remember there are two kinds of debt, bad debt and good debt. Bad debt, it's a liability. Any money that you owe or anything that you owe, it's a debt, it's a liability. Now, why are people so poor? People, when they get money, they go for luxuries. People start earning money and people obatla ba mmona fihla kwana thabantshu kwana ke ke botshabela ra o fihlile a pitjana pitso sebetsa Mpumalanga fihla ka selahla, you know. I hear a lot of guys that say, hey, yabona mina mangifika bezwa ngami, any new model bayibona ngami, you know. That's luxuries. That's why the majority of people are poor. They invest in luxuries instead of investing. They buy luxuries and invest later. Whereas the opposite is the correct. Invest first and then luxuries later. Now, this action that you guys, all of you, all my members in the membership club, that you have taken of investing in yourself, committing that we are going to, the members of the Big R, pay our monthly subscription, that's an investment. Remember when I told about the 65,000 rand that I paid to be on the coaching program? That was an investment. I talk this language because of that investment. So invest first, luxury later. Hence I say, it is not that I don't like big cars. No. It is because I don't want to start with luxury. I want to start with investing first and luxury later. Now, let me give you an example of liabilities and assets.
I have a question,
Yes, Wanam.
How do you avoid this temptation of luxury? Because if you check, when you listen to the radio, you go to internet, the advertisement are saying to you, if you don't have luxury, you don't have life. You must keep on buying. No, when you check the newspaper, a full page, it will be a motor car, a beautiful motor car, inviting you to buy these nice things. How do you create that environment how you are not tempted by what you are seeing?
The first thing
to do, yes, sir.
The first thing to do is education, learn. Let me tell you something. I'm going to look at you now. Ever since you started learning from the Big R, you're a different person. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
And you, being the member of the Big R membership club, learning, you'll behave differently compared to somebody who's not well educated. You understand very well that those adverts, what are they doing? They are building their own businesses. Have you ever heard say mind your own business?
Yes, I did.
Now, you are minding your own business. I'll give you another example. You know, when I met my wife, whom I've been married to her now for how long we have been together now? It's quite some time now. Yeah, it's probably 30 years or so. We started 89. So I haven't checked. We are happily married. When I met my wife, whom I love so much, I said to my wife, My wife, you always ask a person when you start a relationship. And then I ask her, what are the likes and dislikes? One of the things that my wife told me was, hey, I like going to the mall, town, and do window shopping. All right? Then I said to her, that's a no-go area. She could not understand what I meant by that. I said to her, if you go to the town, window shopping, you buy things even if you don't have money. I said, come month end, you have already spent your money. And that is why you'll get your money today, tomorrow it's not there. My wife could not understand that at the beginning. But lately, my wife is the opposite. Very disciplined. We are not the garment people, hey, the best shoe in town. No, that's not us.
Yes.
That's not us. We are very simple people. A shoe is a shoe. That's all. You know why? Education. So I'm answering you. How do you fight that temptation? Learning. And that's what you are doing now. And I can guarantee you'll behave differently than a person who has not learned when you see an advert. You'll go to a shop and you'll behave differently. Let me give you another example quickly. Have you seen how supermarkets have been arranged?
Yes, sir.
They consult with psychologists. You know what is the work of psychologists? We study the mind, how the mind operates. So I'm a psychologist myself. I've done psychology. That was one of my best subjects. I became an assistant lecturer on psychology. We study the mind. If you go to supermarket, you'll see that meat has been put right at the back and the cold drink. You know why? For a simple reason. As you come in, the monkey that you are supposed, or the trolley, it's open. Why is it not closed? It's open. So that when I go, I put things. And it's open for one simple reason. As I pass other people, they become attracted to my trolley. It works on them psychologically also to take some of the things that I have, they don't have. Then when I arrived there, I've already put things that I did not plan for. I was going for the meat and cold drink. When I come back, the chances are I'll take others and continue to add. And when I arrive at the till, there they've put what? Ice cream and chocolate to the size of a child. You know why? So that the child can grab and say, Baba, I want this. All right? I went out with the intention of spending 500. I end up spending 1,500. Now, do you blame them for that? No. They're building their business. Mind your own business. So I think I've given more than enough how to deal with that. Very simple. Now, let's move on. This one of a job, I think I need to take it at some point. It's not an asset per se, but a job gives you money. It's not an asset. I'll explain one day what is an asset. Remember, in the membership club, we have a whole lot of training. This year we did, I explained the asset, remember?
Yes,
With 8 integrities. That's the real asset, not the job. It's not does not have integrities, the job. All right. Your investment, those are the assets. I said anything that puts money in your pocket. But liabilities are your debts, bad debt, your sales house. I don't know whether that shop is still there. Your jet, all right? Your Edgars, all right? Your Mokels, your Mashonisa. Mashonisa sometimes it's Mashonisa 1, Mashonisa 2. And I've already told you that, don't worry, I'm from there. You know, I knew all the Mashonisas in Kenton Park. But I was not political, I was financially illiterate. So that is why I was a victim of Mashonisa. So you have to pay this one, borrow from this one so that I pay the previous Mashonisa. Life of the day. The bond is a liability. People don't understand. When I go to radio and say a bond is a liability, no. How can you say that? You know what? One day I was on SAFM.
Yes,
I said that. I said a bond is a liability. Another guy from Eastern Cape said, nah, that guy is talking nonsense, man. What does he know? A bond is not a liability. I said a bond is a liability. It's not an asset, because once you have a bond, you continue to service that bond. All right? You continue to do what? Service that bond. And it doesn't end there. You clean that property. You pay. All right? Paint, get ruined, you paint. You paint. There's blockages, sewage, you pay. The money still goes out of your pocket. It's not bringing money into your pocket. Do you understand? So that's the thing that people don't understand. So the picture of poor people is like this. They have one job, few investments, whole lot of liabilities. So how can you have money this way? Because when it comes, it goes to those liabilities. So that is why you see a picture of people having money today. Year's end today, 2 days down the line, there's no money. Is this picture? You get it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. HP, high purchase on a car. I mean, the concept itself tells you high purchase, but we still buy it. Because Pijo Fisha Kobutsabelo that Lameleba Bon or Pijo Fisha and again high purchase. Do you understand? Now, how do you expect to have money? Now, the rich, this is the picture. They concentrate on building the asset column. All right? And very few liabilities. As they get money, profit from their assets, they keep on building on what? Assets. So you must build on assets than liabilities. Because assets will pay you. And assets are divided into classes. One class is business. Another class of asset is real estate. Another class of asset is commodity. Paper money, shares, and cryptocurrency. These are the 5 asset classes. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, you need to find yourself in all these assets. That's when we say you have diversified. But if you have just bought investment, retirement, annuity, money market, you say you have diversified. You have not diversified. You are still in one asset class. You know why you diversify? You diversify because these asset classes, they don't work. What do they call, what terminology? They don't work linearly, all of them. All right? When the economy boom, not all of them. When one goes up, the other one goes down. All right? So now when you diversify, if one asset class is not doing well, then you reap the money from the other asset class. A clever man does that. You need to find yourself in all asset classes. But guess what? The most important thing, never go to any asset class having not started by educating yourself with that asset class. You need to start with education first, thereafter, slowly but sure, go to an asset class. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So people say, Nyofunda. I know, no. We are halal. I mean, I want to make money. You'll never make money if you don't know anything. If I have unit trust, investments, life cover, retirement annuity, mutual funds, they are all paper assets. This is not diversification. You have diversified within one asset class. I'm not saying it's wrong. Get me clear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the real diversification is to be across all asset classes. That's all I'm saying. All right? The real money, gold. Already it's a it's platinum. You know, the Colombians are platinum. All right, diamond, that's real money. Silver, that's real money. Oil, iron ore, coal, that's real money. Cement, that's real money. I don't know whether you get it. Not the currency, not the currency. Raw material, that's real money. The land, that's real money. Because out of the land, what can happen? I can have food, I can build a house, I can build a stadium, I can do anything. I can have a swimming pool, I can do anything with the land. That's real money. So answers to what is money. I'm going back again, trust. Do you agree with me now?
Yes, I do.
Gold, knowledge, mind. Do you agree with me now? Use the mind and power. What is that? That is money. Trust, gold, knowledge, mind, power. Power and money goes hand in glove. But I don't underestimate you. You are very intelligent. You'll be able to unpack other things that I didn't unpack. Mine was just to show the light, just like I was shown by other people. And then at the big R, we have what you call the read method. I always talk about the read method. What is the read method? The R stands for respond. You have the information, you must respond. When I was telling you about the example of Ndu Chabalala in Frankfurt, she responded. She heard me on radio. What did she do? She responded. What did you do when you heard me on radio? You responded. Do you understand? A lot of people, you tell them, they hear, they do nothing and keep on dreaming that one day I'll be rich. Do you understand? I said, Pizza, there is membership club. What did you do? You responded. All right. So that's the big R. You must respond. Don't just get information and do nothing. You must respond. And it will take effort, energy. Now it's Saturday. You're supposed to be going to a mall. No, you're not doing that. Where are you? You're here, learning. It's effort and energy. All right? The big one, action. Take action. Take action. Don't just sit. What do? You must act. And the last one, which is a read, decisive. You must decide, you must be decisive, disciplined, dedicated, determined. Now you are on your way to success. Now These were my first 2 books. We have added 2 more. The first one was Secrets for Becoming Rich. Now this one, How I Turned 500 Rand into a R1 million business. And that's it, Peter. That's the story of what is money. Now I'm open for questions if you want to ask questions. And then, yeah.
I'll start by saying thank you very much, Chabala. No, I see I have a lot of work to do. I've been thinking about this issue of boers.
Of what?
Of boers. The issue of boers.
Boers.
White.
Oh, the boers. The boers. Yes.
I've been thinking about it, but not taking action. You just ignite that thought. I'll repeat, or you must go and do more research on it, because if you check Boers and Indians in our different tribes, if I can say so, they are the only people where they have started businesses and then they sustained their business, where you see a business is owned by one generation to the next generation until. Hence, I was asking the question of saying, if the Wright brothers, they have came up with the concept of starting an aeroplane, how are the generation after the people who have started it are benefiting? Yes. That's all that I can say. And I was also not taking the cryptocurrency serious. So I need to go and do my research and do something on it. But one question that I have, Ndati, is about, someone have told me, if you see someone rich, you must always find out what is the spirit or spirituality of that person. The person was saying to me, the spirit that the person is having is the one that attracts the man. I thought maybe, is there anything that you can share with me from that perspective?
Look,
yes,
I'm a key proponent of learning.
Yes, Ndati.
Yeah. Now, I'm happy that you quoted the history of the Boers, not in a negative manner. You see, I was worried to say, maybe I need to kill the Boers. No. I want to learn. I want to learn how did they do it, and how are you going to learn how did they do it? You go back to history. You read their history. All right. I'm a key proponent of learning because I saw it in myself. Why I was giving the story, the history of how the Big R started. I wanted to show, because remember, I also made mistakes.
Yes, sir.
Until such time in year 2009, it can't be like this. Let me read. That's when things started changing. But they never changed overnight.
Yes.
It took a while. And challenges went, but I continued. I soldier on. Even today, I read. I continue to read. That's me. All right? I solve a lot of my problems with that only, reading and learning. And I've just given you an example of Ndu and other people that I'm not at liberty to mention, all right? But I know they've done well just by learning from me. And my son, I gave you the example. It's an ongoing process. Do you understand? So it has nothing to do, I'm not saying I'm not spiritual. I am, but if you can see, and I'm sure you have noticed in our group, I always discourage people sending messages of birthday, man has passed on, a religious message, because we'll flood our phones with unnecessary messages. Our message is very simple. It's about financial matters, nothing. I don't allow people to sell on that platform. All right. And that's it, is to share information. What are we doing, guys? When are we having the training and all that? You do get a point. Because I know religion is very emotive. All right. And I cannot elevate any religion ahead of any other religion. For me, all religions are equal. All right. God, I am one person who believes that God exists. But how to get to God, we have different ways. And I'm not there to condemn. So I'm not going to talk on behalf of spirituality. So what I'm trying to say, I'm a Christian person. Me, I learn and do things and make mistakes and continue to learn. I'm not going to say the spirituality is the thing that brings the money. No. I learn and do things, make mistakes, try to improve. It's a continuous, it's a journey. Right? Because I don't want to elevate one religion at the expense of other religions. So I'm not going to agree to that notion that spirituality attracts money. No. All right? If you look today in the world, people are so confused. All right? Because people fail to do simple things. They want to do difficult things. All right? When you say read, learn about, they don't want. The next thing he has problem. Here is a pastor comes and say, hey, guys, I can pray, and then you guys have money. All of us go there and flock there. Fail to ask a simple question. Why does he pray and get the money for himself first before he calls us? All right?
Yes.
So, I'm not condemning any religion, but I'm saying we must use our mind. Hence, I said money is mine. So I'm not going to elevate any religion at the expense of any other. So in my case, it has nothing to do with spirituality. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a Christian, I've already told you. But I'm not going to say, oh, no. I pray to God. Everything that I do, I ask God to give me guidance. I'm what I am. I'm that product. All right? But I'm not going to promote anything.
Yes.
Outside what I know. All right? So does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
So I hope you are learning, Peter.
Yes, I am.
I hope you are learning and you don't regret to be the member of the club.
No, I'm not. I'm not, because the reason for me to join the club, it was for me to learn.
Yeah.
So I don't have any regret.
Yeah, Peter, let's go on. Let's spread the word. We are there. Anyone who wants to learn, we are more than welcome to teach as many people. I'll tell you one thing, the more we teach many people, we'll deal with poverty.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll deal with poverty. That's my belief. So let's recruit more people to join the membership club. But thank you very much for attending this membership club. I have a whole lot of people who wanted to be on the training tonight. I mean today. Tabo Mukoni, Liseri FM, whom we are starting to work together now, who's doing well. He wanted, but he was doing his show, and Auskoni, who's in America now, who's an actor on, what's this? Gomorrah. Yeah, and a whole lot of people. Peter Machite, do you still remember Peter Machite? He used to play for Kaiser Chiefs as a defender. He was supposed to be on this training today, but he said there's load shedding in Soweto. There's a whole lot of people. There's another friend of mine who introduced me to Mtu. You know Mtu, the singer?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. His name is Maloya. It's Boon Changase, but he used to call himself Maloya. He wanted to be part of the training today. The more we train people, I like it, because we'll be achieving that goal to say, let's enlighten ourselves. I like what Madiba said, is in your hands.
Yes,
Let us not look at government. I'm not saying government should not do anything, but what can you do? All right. But thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. A lot of people struggle to connect today, but it doesn't matter. All right. It doesn't matter for me. As long as I have one or two people having connected, I'll do what I'm supposed to do. All right. Peter, I cannot go further than this because I've already lined up other appointments after this. But thank you for coming. And then, I hope you spread the message even to your family members. It's important. The more we are enlightened, all of us, the better.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Peter. It is really appreciated. Thank you.